We're less than 12 hours from the start of a KABOOM blizzard. Let's bring it home. This video is sponsored by ZoneWatch, the severe weather intelligence mobile app and web dashboard. ZoneWatch has an amazing centralized view of local conditions, weather alerts, and automated forecasts from all models, not just one. I know, I usually discourage apps for high-stakes weather conditions where human analysis is king. But for those other times when weather is more settled, I highly recommend this Weather Information Supercenter. For higher stakes weather situations, I use ZoneWatch Radar for live observation videos and reels. You've seen them. It's NextRad based. It features the best precipitation type depiction I know of. In addition to past and present radar, I can view future models like the GFS, Canadian, even the Euro, through the future simulated radar and many other parameters. ZoneWatch is launching ZW Cast in the next few weeks, which features physics-aware forecasting 60% more accurate than NOAA-HER model. I'll put a link in the description if you want to sign up for ZoneWatch with a free trial. And now on to our weather video. Good Saturday night to everyone. So if you are new here to Weather NJ, a KABOOM is a 12-inch snowstorm. A Dude Where's My Car is a 24-inch plus snowstorm. So, just some phrases we like to use. We have some fun with it. Now, I do think KABOOM is a more probable outcome tomorrow into Monday. However, Dude Where's My Car is not off the table yet. I don't think something like that would happen statewide, but possibly at least localized or on an isolated area. So what I want to do tonight is focus mostly on conditions affecting you at the surface, right? What does it really mean for you at the surface? This week, we beat the physics to death in articles and videos about how this storm formed from the upper level energy and the ridge out west. Tonight, we're going to keep it nice and simple so that you understand what's going to happen at the surface and when. So if you caught the 4 p.m. article today, it broke this storm down into 3 distinct phases. And the first one happens between early tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, Sunday. The second phase happens tomorrow evening, Sunday evening, into Monday morning around sunrise. And then the third and final phase happens from about, just after sunrise Monday morning through Monday afternoon. And what I want to do is just walk you through each of these phases and what to expect. So what you're looking at right here is live radar. We already have some returns pushing into southwest PA. Again, we're less than 12 hours. We're not far from precipitation breaking out into New Jersey, right? So this is the ZoneWatch radar, but let's go to the ZoneWatch future simulated radar. And this is pulling from the high resolution NAM, latest NAM run. And, we get to about here. Let's go to when precipitation breaks out tomorrow morning. And we're gonna go in. We're gonna get nice and close here. Now, it's no secret that it's kind of mild, right? It got into the 40s in many locations today. It's still 40 where I'm at right now. And it's going to be in the upper 30s, lower 40s tomorrow for the first part of this system, especially in South Jersey. So when you wake up tomorrow and it's raining, please do not come on to my page and say, it's raining, it's a bust. Because if you do that, I'm going to direct you specifically to this video. I'm going to direct you specifically to the paragraph that wrote about that in the article today. And I'm going to give you a digital noogie, okay? So, with that said, I expect areas in South Jersey to start with a little bit of rain tomorrow morning. So this is 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., even 10 a.m., right? We're still raining as far northwest as I-95. That's because we have an existing warmer air mass in place. Now, watch what happens. First, let me explain a little bit about evaporational cooling. So the air will be a little bit dry when this precipitation gets in here. When it starts precipitating, what that does is it lowers the temperature as it raises the dew point. And that they meet in the middle at a wet bulb temperature. That's colder than what the air was before moisture was introduced to it. So that's going to be the first cooling process that chips away at some of this warmth. Um, but then precipitation is just going to start bringing down colder air aloft, and as pressure drops, then you're going to get into like adiabatic cooling, where the expansion, low pressure dropping actually cools the air, and then the precipitation brings that down. So back to tomorrow morning. Again, rain expected tomorrow morning in South Jersey. It's going to be snowing in North Jersey, but this is mostly light precipitation that happens in this first stage of the storm. So we get to 11 a.m., right? And look at this, 11, 12, boom. I'll go back. 11, 12. See how quick that snow rain line collapses and crashes to the south? And we get out to 1 p.m. here, and Jersey's all snow. So tomorrow, Sunday, rainy start southeast of the I-95 corridor, changes to snow by 1, maybe 2 p.m. at the latest, okay? Everybody's over to all snow, even the very tip of Cape May, by 2 p.m. Tomorrow. Which means starting around somewhere between noon and 2 p.m. tomorrow, conditions are going to rapidly deteriorate after that, okay? I know some of you, for whatever your individual circumstances are, you might not have been able to prepare for this storm and go out to the store until tomorrow morning, okay? Whatever. It's going to be some light precipitation around that carries its own set of hazards and stuff. People panicking, driving. Roads are a little slippery even from rain, right? So just be careful if you have to do that. But from noon on tomorrow, it's going to rapidly deteriorate. And, by about 5 p.m., we're going to call this first phase fully loaded up, right? So this first phase is the loading up phase. Precipitation approaches, spreads, turns to snow, and then it starts getting ugly after 2 p.m., getting very ugly after 5 or 6 p.m. Let's move on to phase 2. Now, phase 2 is going to be the peak phase of this storm. Again, this is from about 6 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday, through maybe 6 a.m. Monday morning, right? That 12-hour period. And what's going to happen is that the low's down here. So I'm going to continue fast forwarding through this future simulated radar. Notice Jersey stays all snow. And here's the low, very clear circulation coming off. And that tucks right in. Here's midnight. You have the low tucked right into the coast. You have incredibly heavy snow falling through all of Jersey, and you have this low right here. And it's throwing a lot of wind in there. So let's look at the winds. This is right now. It's very calm. You can see that we get to about 7 a.m. is when the winds start blowing directly off the ocean out of the east. Okay. And nothing too crazy. And then we get to about noon, right? Noon to 2. That's where it starts picking up. So when that first phase ends, you're going to have your wind starting to pick up off the ocean. And notice the direction is more of a east-northeast than dead east. So during this phase 2, winds are going to start out of the east, rock to northeast, rock to north-northeast, and eventually become north. And that starts phase 3. But for now, we're dealing with the strongest winds here, it looks like. I want to say Sunday night. Yeah, right around midnight is going to be the peak winds. And these are sustained winds. Sustained wind of 53. Like, what? Let's go over to wind gusts. So wind gust for that same period. Whoops. Let me go back one. Yeah, we get right here, and look at that. There's a 72 mile an hour gust. I don't know. The NAM sometimes overdoes wind gusts. What I think is that 40 miles an hour is a lock. 50 is very likely, and then maybe a few gusts get over 60 to 65, something like that. Either way, it's going to rock, though, Sunday night into Monday morning. Absolutely rocking along the coast there. And these are wind gusts. You see 50 mile an hour gusts even getting inland. So, whatever it is inland, it's going to be worse on the coast. If it's gusting to 50 in Philly, the coast, just watch out. Lots of power outages, lots of coastal flooding. This is going to be bringing in all that water. go back to wind direction. So, Sunday during the day, we have that east component. That's going to blow a little bit of water up against the shore. But then when the highest winds are involved, it's northeast. It slams all that water into the shore, and that's going to be the high tide of concern around midnight Sunday night into Monday morning. And it still looks like anything from moderate to like low end of major stage coastal flooding is possible. But it is really that one high tide of concern. There'll be a high tide tomorrow around noon and a high tide around Monday on noon. But by the time we get to Monday, I mean, we have north winds here. So nothing that's blowing water against the coast. Things are draining at that point. So again, phase two, the peak phase, it's when the low gets as close to Jersey as it's going to get, and it cranks up those winds along the coast and inland, and it produces that coastal flooding. Now back to the future simulated radar. This is when it's going to dump the heaviest bands, what's called mesoscale convective bands, and these bands are basically going to just push in. They'll be aligned like this. Let me mark it up a little bit so we can see it better. These bands are going to just push into Jersey like this, right? In that overall pocket of this, they're just going to come in one after the other. If you look at some historical radar, if you want to Google like the radar from the Boxing Day blizzard, December 26, 27, 2010, there might be some radar loops of that. That's probably what you're going to see as far as how these bands come in late Sunday night into Monday morning. And that's going to be most accumulations from the storm are going to occur during that middle phase. So let's move forward to phase three. We're going to go out to about 6 a.m. We'll go to 7 a.m. Monday morning. And that's where we are right here as well. So notice the winds are out of the north. And from 7 a.m. through noon until about afternoon, that low is going to pull away. And snow is going to end from west to east. Right, we're gonna have like northwest winds. It's gonna be pretty stiff winds out of the northwest. Nothing like what's gonna blow against the shore during the peak of the storm. But we know how cold air likes to evac after these storms move away. It's sucking all that flow in to the backside of the low. So 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Here we are at 1 p.m. Monday, and it's just starting to break up here in eastern PA with a slow taper off. Now this snow, because it has north winds, is going to be the coldest snow of the system. So we might have like 10-1, maybe 12-1 snow ratios in that middle phase two, Sunday night into Monday. But here Monday, especially after Monday noon, when winds are due north, out of the due north, it's going to drop temperatures another couple degrees. So maybe you're talking at ratios between 12-1 and 15-1. So it's going to stack up a little bit better for any snow that's snowing on this backside. And, when you get one of these bands that forms vertically, it's called a deformation zone band. And they tend to dump snow. I still think most accumulations are going to occur Sunday night into Monday, phase two. But phase three could feature some additional accumulations that stack up pretty quick. So and then snow just ends. It tapers off between about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see how it's tapering off. It's completely gone by 6 or 7 p.m. And that's our storm. That's the three phases of our storm. So this is the snow map that we put out today. It was a slight revision from yesterday. And the one thing I want to point out, let's see how this color shows up on the map. So this area here in southeast Jersey, some of you might say, why is that zone E? I don't get it. I thought it was all going to be crazy southeast Jersey storm. So the only reason why we kept this little section of extreme South Jersey in zone E is to account for that rain in the beginning of phase one, possibly shaving a few inches off of your total accumulation. Because all that precipitation is light, and before the storm doesn't really get going until after 2 p.m., it could be negligible for example, the GFS starts everyone out as all snow with no rain at all. But that future simulated radar I just showed you from the HER has some other support from Euro, from the NAM, where it does start out as rain. And this purple area down here is the last to go over to snow, to change over to snow. So for that reason, we only put that area in the 12 to 18 category, not the 18 to 24 plus. That's the yellow. So this area might very well be much to do about nothing, right? It might just behave like the yellow F zone if this changes over quicker. But in case this hangs on to like maybe 1 or 2 p.m., you might lose a few inches there, and that's all that is. Another area that we're struggling with to get a handle on is going to be the backside cutoff here. Now Jersey's pretty good, right? Jersey's mostly good for this storm. There's some people though that are snow lovers that are sweating in this general area, right? Some of the models brought the big snow, and we'll call big snow 12 inches, right? Whether or not that 12-inch mark is going to be like west or east of Allentown, PA, or even like Reading or whatever, this is still yet to be determined, because there has been a little bit of a trend for this back side to push east a little bit, and it's just it's tightening up. The precipitation shield is tightening up. So right now we have this like Allentown, Strasburg, Middletown up in New York. We have this general band in the 10 to 15 zone. We might tighten this up a little bit tomorrow morning. We'll see. We have one more window tomorrow to make a final call snow map. Something that will just rush out probably straight to social media. We won't even like post it, on the website or whatever. We might just take it straight to social, a final update. And I could see us maybe just tightening up this area a little bit here to better represent the sharp cutoff that's going to be back there. But Jersey's good. Jersey is, Jersey's looking pretty good for large snowfall. This jackpot zone here, we have that as 18 to 24. We do think a little bit less in North Jersey. That's been the general trend. The only spot in Jersey where they could see a little bit less we have up here in this D zone. It's like the northern little triangle there of Sussex County, and this is our only spot. It's in the 10 to 15 zone. It's our only spot where we have less than 12, as a range. And that's just from the furthest proximity to the low that's going to be down, off the coast, and partly because of that cutoff, favoring a little bit more of an axis like this instead of like that. So again, small tweaks that we're going to make if we do issue a third revision of this map tomorrow. But we will have that out by noon if we do, and then from that point forward, it's just live observations. So again, do not wake up tomorrow, see rain, and call bust. Please don't do that. I'm going to direct you right to this video and that paragraph I wrote today. And come 2 p.m., you will learn what evaporational and adiabatic cooling is. I'm just kidding. It's not really that big of a deal, but I can see a lot of people doing that tomorrow morning. The storm really doesn't get kicking until after 2 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, I will. I'm going to monitor the 0Z model suite tonight. See if there's any developments on mesoscale guidance. I'll post that data analysis in KABOOM Club, and then I'll see you tomorrow morning when we will be tracking the approaching KABOOM blizzard. Everyone have a great rest of your Saturday night, and please be safe.